friends, and welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you are back. If you are new, hi, my name's Rabbit and my pronouns are they, them, and I'm really excited because today is the day, the Halloween redecoration day. As I film this, it's September 4th, and it's the first day in my city that I've finally woken up and felt like that perfect autumn weather. I went on a bit of a drive this morning and I could see all the leaves changing. It was like misty and like a little bit foggy. The rain was falling. It was absolute heaven. So while this was already in my calendar to decorate for today, it just feels like it couldn't have been a better time to do it. So I'm pretty much all ready to go. I got spooky sustenance in the form of these little like star crackers. They're like orange and shaped like stars, so that's like kind of spooky. I've got not one, but two beverages, a cup of tea and coffee from this morning. And just to get extra in the mood and the atmosphere for this, I wanted to make like a simmer pot. So I ran to the grocery store just now and got an orange and an apple. I have already all the spices, and I'm gonna put on like my spooky playlist with all my vintage music, and I'm really excited to take you along for the journey. So let's start with the simmer pot. Okay, simmer pot is simmering, spooky drinks are on the go, spooky snacks are on the go, cozy pajamas are on, it's raining outside, we're ready to go. I'm gonna start by taking everything down, wiping it all down, and then we get to decide how everything's gonna look. I'm so excited for like redecoration. It's always so exciting to, I know it's like mostly the same, but little touches, all the details get me really happy. So let's get decorating. So this sort of shelf thing, or as I call it, the Halloween shrine, is my absolute favorite thing to decorate each year. And I'm just starting out by taking everything off of it and dusting it as I go. This is a super important step, and it's important to be careful. It's just a matter of taking everything off and giving it a good clean as needed. This guy is a new addition to the family. I found him at the thrift store, I think in like June or July, and he's from Bella Lux, but he really matches and like goes with all the things, so I just randomly like stuck him in at one point. But how cute. I might just cut off this tag real quick. This is always like a fun part of the process because I get to like reevaluate all the items that I have and like say hello to old friends and kind of decide where things will go and like what worked and what didn't and what I'd like to change. Last year was kind of a bit of a chaotic all over the place sort of design, and I was excited to try something a little more streamlined this year. And it's always fun while you're cleaning things around because you can find items that you forgot about or didn't even know contain certain things, so that was a delightful part of the process. Okay, while I was cleaning in this bucket, which by the way, amazing, I found it at one of the like animal shelter thrift stores that I visit sometimes. Guess what was in there? A bunch of tiny frames, which I think might be too small for Cage's insect art, but would be the perfect size for preserving spider webs, which is something that I've been very interested in. So now I don't have to buy frames, I can just ask Cage if we can use these. Exciting. And like little heart-shaped and like little ornate. Amazing. Plus already, like this is perfect. Serendipity. Happy on that. Okay, continuing. Some things I also changed as I went. Like I've had this sort of little ghosty guy that had this black and white ribbon that I never really liked on him. So I just kind of tore that off finally after like wanting to do that for multiple years. During this, I just put on my Halloween playlist, and it's a great time to just dance around, to get acquainted with all the Halloween stuff, and really get all the exciting vibes going. No way to usher in the season like redecorating for Halloween. Once everything is cleared off, I can go ahead and use some vinegar and water to clear off the mirror. I've been out of the cleaning spray that I really like for quite a long time, so after I dust everything down, I'm just using some warm water with dish soap with a cloth dipped in it and using that to wipe everything down, going in all the nooks and crannies. I'm trying out this sort of mantle scarf that I got at Spirit Halloween, but it's not long enough, so I'm going with the classic creepy cloth. I have a lot of this stuff lying around that I've just like collected throughout the years, and this one piece that I'm trying on is super long, so it takes a minute to get the length correct, but we eventually figure it out, and I like to kind of drape it either like in the middle or like on both sides, just like do something sort of interesting to it. Then the little Walmart cat and pumpkin really only fit in those two spots, so I go ahead and put them there. So this mask was like hanging down since I was hanging it off the elastic string. To fix that, I poked 2 holes and then just added a little bit of thread between the two so I can hang it off this, and it should hopefully hold up more straight. We'll see.
And for this year, I'm finally trying the theme of black cats on one side and pumpkins on the other. And I was honestly a little bit worried that it would look odd or off-balanced or like the color would be weird or whatever. But in the end, I ended up really enjoying this. I found it just really exciting for my brain to look at like all the little character interpretations of like a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern kind of character in all these different art styles and like a black cat kind of character in all these different art styles, and having them next to each other was just, I don't know, very visually interesting for me, though I really like the like kind of cluttercore maximalist style. So I get to combine all my different things from like ceramics and plushies, thrifted and home sense, and gifts from Cage and paper pieces, and yeah, just tons of exciting stuff. To be completely fair, not every single thing is black cat and pumpkin in each spot, but for the most part it is. I have quite a few skeletons on this one side, and I'm just like playing around with the placement of things. Usually I like to keep things fairly balanced, so I'm trying to do that. And I'm hanging up my one banner and making it a little bit longer than it usually is by just adding a little string to lengthen it. Thought this gave kind of a cool effect, and I was happy with it. Then on the walls, I'm just hanging up a variety of signs and cards, but I'm starting with putting the signs up so all the little stuff will be easier to place. And one of my favorite Halloween decorations is all these like paper cutout characters that I got in a book. Super fun. Once all the pumpkins are more or less placed on the left and the black cats are on the right, we can move on to the cabinet. So in this guy, I just wanted to play with all the little stuff that I had left over. So I kept aside a bunch of like my favorite tiny mugs that I got this year that I thought would make really good decor. And I'm so happy with this, as well as like some of the tiny stuffed animals and little ceramics that I found at the thrift store. I wanted to go with like a pretty vintagey sort of theme this year, though it doesn't have one specific era. It's all kind of all over the place, but most of it is vintage style, at least in the shrine area, and I'm super happy with how that worked out. The one thing with this cabinet that I always have to be careful of is that the borders around it will kind of obscure the bottom and the sides, so I have to either make sure that I don't care about what's in the bottom and the sides, or lift it up or out of the way so it's not obscured. But yeah, it's just a matter of playing with things, tiny little decor, plushies, and little handmade dolls and trolls. I have all these like teeny tiny cats that I'm trying to find a good spot for, and eventually I figured some flowers would go well in my little espresso mugs, so I'm adding those. Then to decorate the top, I had a bunch of these leftover plushes that hadn't found like a good home, so I'm arranging them. These are all the kind of larger ones that didn't fit in the bottom. One of my favorites is the little bat. He's from Voltaire, his web store. It might still be even available. And I have this little hand-painted ceramic clown guy that I made myself. Super happy to have him in the display. For the tippy top of the display, I'm just kind of going in with what I have left over, which is these metal canisters and my snow globes, going with my little Halloween cat that I got from Michael's in the middle, and these dollar store candles. And last year I put all these kind of jack-o'-lantern cards in the mirror spot, and I thought it looked really nice, so I'm repeating that, but again putting kind of the pumpkin-y ones on the one side and ones that have more cat themes on the other side, though both still have pumpkins, and it works on out. And then it's just time to fill in the gaps on the walls with different signs, little Halloween cards that I got at the dollar store, and I'm just using a combination of like thumbtacks and tape for the small things, thumbtacks for the wooden things, essentially. And yes, sometimes things fall down and you have to retape them, but that's just the way life is. I don't super mind. I've been collecting these like dollar store Halloween cards for a couple of years now, and it's just really exciting because the more I get, the more selective I can be with like my color schemes and like what goes where, and if I get duplicates then I can like use them in other craft projects. So it's just something that I'm very happy that I began collecting a couple of years ago, and has been a very fun part of the decor, in my opinion. The last thing that I ended up adding was just some orange string lights that I got at the dollar store, but it was a couple days later. Anyway, when it's all done, you can see it here lit up at night. It's so wonderful. I love like all the twinkling lights everywhere and all the artificial candles that I have that I can like light up and not feel stressed about my house burning down with it. Yeah, just makes it feel super cozy. I really like the split down the middle design that I did this year, and since I usually keep this display up year round, I'm excited to have a whole year of seeing this. Next in the living room, I'm just decorating this little side table by the couch. Again, I'm out of cleaner, so I'm just using some soapy water and then drying it off right away because it is wood and I don't want, water damage type of thing. But cleaning it off first and then going ahead and playing around with different things that I could use to decorate. I wanted to take out one of my snow globes and put it out, and I thought it would look nice on the side table. In the end, I resort back to the Halloween greetings pillow because it's a classic and it just fits so good in that spot. I did end up putting the snow globe there, and then these little ceramic cats that I repainted last year of lemon and tuna, along with this little candy jar of chocolate. Later, I also stole this tray that I keep in my kitchen and put everything in there because it just seemed like it would fit really perfectly, and it does. I really like it. Super compact, and I enjoy the aesthetic of everything nice and together in that little corner. It's very neat and tidy. Under that little side table, I usually store like the candles that just have a tiny bit of wax left that I need to like melt down and turn into a wax melt or something like that. So those are all kind of stored in the back, and then the fresh ones are on the bottom, or ones that still have like a substantial amount left. Putting this little Home Sweet Haunted Home coffin in front, and I think it looks super cute. This little card that has a cat holding a pumpkin on it that I got when I started my job at the cat cafe. Then I have this tiny ceramic that I painted to look like my cat Tuna and also be kind of spooky, and next to it is this tiny little glass jar that has a cat in a bottle. I think it looks absolutely precious, and I'm super happy with how this little area turned out. Then for the couch area itself and sort of dinner table where we eat, I'm clearing everything off, giving it a good clean. I had washed the little cloth that I use in the laundry, and it's just like kind of a spiderweb design. It's either from the dollar store or Spirit, I forget. And then I'm putting a little white doily over top of it, little ceramic coffin that holds our remote and stuff, little hand lotion jar because it gets so dry in Canada, and my coasters. Then for the couch itself, I have to refluff all the pillows, and I would refold the blankets, but Tuna's sleeping there, so we will leave it be for now. I was trying this crow mantle scarf over the couch, but I didn't really like how it looked, so I'm going back with the classic bat that I usually like eventually. And when Tuna eventually moves, I can go ahead and refold all the little blankets that go in the corner of the couch. I have my ones that are old that I usually use, and then my new one, which I love so much. It's very like vintagey themed, and it's just got these like amazing little black cats on it and the pumpkins, and yeah, super happy with how it looks. Then I'm just rearranging things a little bit, putting my pillows on either side of the couch, and then a couple days later I ended up, as you can see, changing out the crow blanket thing for a bat. And I like it better. I think it's good. Also, for the reason Lemon is in a sweater, she had a medical thing where she couldn't lick herself. It's not because she usually wears a sweater for aesthetic purpose or anything. It just happens to be a Halloween sweater. I promise I'm not making her do it for the video. It's for medical reasons. I know that sounds stupid, but yeah, that's why. And I don't endorse just dressing up your pets for no reason. But yeah, she's fine for anyone who's wondering. Just had to go to the vet. And then by the TV area, I wanted to kind of make a little decoraty spot there. So as usual, starting by, what do you know, wiping it down, making sure everything's clean, moving everything around for a second. I still really like this repainted candle holder that I got last year, so I'm putting that back, putting this crow that I got this year beside it, along with my little cauldron and this cat candle. And just a couple of other little mismatch thingies. Have a candle with the witch on it, and this picture of Cage and I at our first Halloween that is super special. This little copper cauldron that I got from the thrift store, and I'm just adding things from my sort of witchy cabinet. So I'm adding like salt and bay leaves, dream potions and black salt and all sorts of stuff. Next, I'm doing this little shelf beside that little witchy section, so I'm going ahead and clearing it off of all the items that were on it. And I wanted to, again, just keep it in a similar theme, just update what was already there a little bit. These red bowls are from Cage's grandma, some pictures of old family members, and I have some jewelry that's carved out of bones into flowers that my grandma gave to me, and from the dollar store, a little doily that I'm placing under Cage's grandma's bowls, and this little candle, so it's kind of like the dead man candle hand thing. And I just kind of played around with things. I had a bunch of moss left over from crafts, so I'm filling one of the bowls with it and then putting all these trinkets, things that Cage has given me, things that I found, and finally just placing a couple of tarot cards and extra little important, significant things and little electric candles to give it a bit of a glow. I wish I could light real candles here, but it's really close to the top of the wood, so frustrating. Just finagling with a couple of the items before I figure out what I like, but in the end I ended up putting like 2 tarot cards, a couple of different family portraits and photographs, and it's like a sweet little corner that I enjoy. We've also always had this weird corner with like wires and the Wi-Fi thing and just generally unappealing tech stuff, so I'm taking a piece of thrifted orange velvet that I stole from Cage's stash and just putting it over stuff, not too close to the heater so nothing lights on fire or anything, but trying to keep it somewhat, covered up. I am then placing this little basket that Cage and I thrifted and putting these dried corn that Cage got at the grocery store last year into it, along with the little ghost that I had off the Halloween display whose bow I ripped off, and this little pumpkin headband that I made out of like this paper pattern that I got out of a book last year. Tuna's very curious and wants to come in and try to eat the corn, so she gets her cat grass instead. And yeah, thought it would just be a nice way to kind of cover up the Wi-Fi router and this little area to make it a little more presentable. Next in the living room, I'm doing a little refresh of our plant station. Some things still need to be repotted, but this was just a soft reset, shall we say. I have this jar that was absolutely gnarly with like all algae and stuff growing in it, so I went ahead and finally changed that out. The root system in there was wild. I think it needs a bigger jar. When I put it in clean water, it instantly turned that water green. So pretty intense. The plant seems happy though. I did end up changing out its water again and it's slightly more clear looking. I put some things in bigger pots and then just added some little plastic pumpkins that I got at the dollar store on like little picks. On the next shelf, I have a bit of a frog theme going, adding some pumpkins to that little display and these little resin gravestones that I got from Michael's. I also have this adorable little frog plush that I added in. Cage got this in these little jack-o'-lantern buckets that I found from the dollar store. I'm putting some little troll dolls in their Halloween outfits and then just dispersing those resin gravestones around as I please. I also trimmed a bunch of the yellow leaves while I was there and just generally gave everyone a bit of a cleanup after I also gave them a little tombstone. So that's the living room done. It's now time to do the bedroom. I'm starting out by changing out the sheets. I had just done the laundry, so my fitted sheet was nice and clean, even had a sock in it. How exciting. Also, ignore the fact that I have giant holes in the corners of them. Basically, Lemon, when she's getting up on the bed every night, she like claws and claws at it and it just rips holes in it, and I needed to get new ones when I was filming this. Anyway, I'm changing out my duvet cover for this awesome one that has a black cat on it. My mom got me this for Christmas last year and I love it. It's my only kind of set of spooky sheets, like, per se, but I think the black cat face is just like, I don't know, whenever I first put it on, it always takes me a little bit by surprise when I go into my room and see these giant eyes staring at me, but it's a lot of fun. I wanted to use my new and fun jack-o'-lantern fuzzy blanket, so I'm going ahead and putting that on top of everything, and then putting the black cat pillows over top of that. Then of course it's time to get my stuffed animals into their festive gear, and basically all I use is pet costumes that I get at like the dollar store and pet store around Halloween. So I have a big selection of pumpkin-y themed ones. So first we're going on with Lappin, and I'm choosing this little reversible jack-o'-lantern cape. It's like a jack-o'-lantern on one side and like a bat thing on the other side. I also have this little crochet pumpkin hat that I'm putting on Lappin. Lappin is the first stuffed animal that Cage ever gave me, so super sentimental. And then this is little Myotis, and it's the first stuffed animal I ever gave Cage, so I'm putting him in a little Halloween sweater with some jack-o'-lanterns on it, and it looks cute. I also tried a collar. We did a couple of different try-ons of outfits with Myotis, little orange sweater with a spooky tree on it, but we ended up going with our first choice. And then it's Crystal's turn, and since she's so big, it's always a little bit hard to find things that fit her, but regardless, I just put this little collar on her, and then this tiny pumpkin hat that is a little bit tight, but it works, and it's cute. So that's everyone all dressed up for Halloween, except for Tuna, who's very curious about what's happening. And I found these little jack-o'-lantern pails, thought they would be perfect for my stuffed animals, so everyone gets a little pail. And then a couple days later, I had taken these little witch hats off a felt banner I got at the dollar store, and I figured it would be perfect to give Myotis and Crystal a hat, so I'm going ahead and just tying that on. And then I finally found a good spot for this little Spirit Halloween mantle cover with the crows on it and the cemetery gate. I ended up putting it on this little stool. And now that my bed's made, it's time to make Tuna's bed. This is a delightful little bed that when I was a kid, my dad had made for my favorite stuffed animal, which was a white cat named Alice. And for Christmas or my birthday last year, my dad had remade it, and my mom had helped him reupholster it so it would be good for Tuna, and it's like one of her favorite spots. But since this is spooky season, I'm changing out her red heart curtains for some black spiderweb ones. This is technically a lampshade cover that I got at Michael's last year, but I figured it was like almost the exact right size. I think next year I might cut it first so it fits better, but it still works. And then I usually put like a pad over her mattress to protect it from the fur. I wanted it to be a little more festive, so I have these orange squares that I knitted, and I'm using them for now, though eventually I'd like to knit her a proper one. Then I'm going through her toy bag and just finding all of her spooky toys and letting her give them a good sniff before I put them all in her bed. Cage was like, how are you telling which ones she likes? Like, you're just putting all of them in. But she sniffed all of them, so that means she likes them. That's what we're arguing about in the background. But yeah, she's so freaking cute. And yeah, see, that one she didn't like, so not all of them went in. Regardless, that's her little bed made. I think she approves. Definitely enjoys having all her little catnip toys in there. Then I have this random little side table that I figured I'd decorate with the leftover stuff. So I have this LED pumpkin, this Bats VCR tape that I found at the thrift store, and this little Halloween shrine that I made last year. And then I'm setting up all my troll dolls in costumes around so that they can trick or treat together. I love having my troll dolls in the Halloween display, but since they're so colorful, I figured it would be fun to have them in a different spot so they could really stand out. And I'm also just sticking some little purple bat lights behind them. So this spot's really cute and simple, but I enjoy it. Then for Lemon's bed, her favorite spot is this chair that belonged to Cage's like great grandma or something. So I'm taking off all the pastel stuff that we usually keep on it year round, and we're gonna change it out for some autumn stuff. First, it needs a good vacuum, and I'm putting on this blanket that Cage and I found at the thrift store first, her heating pad underneath that so she can be nice and toasty. Then I've got this really soft fuzzy blanket because she likes to have a soft one. I wanted it to like look neat, so I tried a couple different positions until I found one that I liked and that I think she will enjoy as well. And lastly, since she likes to sometimes lean up against something, I put this little pillow that has these little kind of like vintage cats on it. It's super cute. I think it's a basket cover that Cage and I found at the thrift store a couple years ago, but all the colors are super like beige and autumnal. Next, on this little cat shelf in my bedroom, I'm just putting a little purple witch hat on one of the ceramic cat teapots, you know, spruce it up. And for my little lambs, adding them some witch hats also, or at least to the one. For the window in my bedroom, I'm adding some window stickers, this one of a purple cat in a black witch hat, and this other one of a black tuxedo looking cat with a potion. Next, but still in my bedroom, it's time to do my altar, which is just a shelf that I've cleared out. I'm putting this book from my childhood that has all these beautiful fairy illustrations that I just turn to for inspiration all the time, and I decided to display this one page where it's talking about how one of the jobs of the fairies is to read the animals bedtime stories, and it has just these beautiful illustrations of woodland animals and unicorn fawns and the owls, and it's very autumnal and beautiful. I'm putting my cup with the maiden, the mother, and the crone, and this glass jar that I've filled with this year's apple seeds and sunflower petals, and another little glass cauldron filled with acorns, these wax skulls from last year, and beeswax that my parents made into a candle. In my little bat wing container, I'm adding a bunch of leftover moss from craft projects and some crystals and different stones and trinkets that are of significance to me, different clocks and bottle caps, stones from significant people, and other, beautiful things that mean a lot to me. I ended up removing those wax skulls and replacing them with a real skull that I found as a teenager with this black rose on the other side. I'm adding into the glass vessel one of the sunflowers that Cage and I picked, but it looked kind of solitary, and I ended up just leaving the petals in there eventually. It's really just a matter of finagling around, but as long as all my favorite and most important elements are on there, it is good for me. Labradorite's my favorite stone, so it always gets a prominent display, and I think it turned out really nice. I really enjoyed the final result, and I'm excited to use this setup. So then this is how the bedroom is looking all together now that everything's set up. I've lit up these little fairy lights and they just make everything look extra cozy and spooky. The bed is so comfy and cozy with the jack-o'-lantern blankets, and you can see Tuna having a nice nap in the middle while Lemon's a little bit offended because she has to wear her sweater, and again, not for aesthetic purposes, it is for medical reasons. I feel bad for her. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but she's just so cute. It's hard. The little troll trick-or-treat display is super adorable, and it's just nice to have everyone's bed area set up in the Halloween spirit. The bedroom is always so cozy with all the twinkly lights, and the cats love to hang out in there, and all the soft blankets, so it's always just a delight to get to decorate and feel really nice in there. I have some of my favorite spooky art pieces up year round, but it's always nice to remind myself of them during Halloween. Some of my favorite spooky books on my bedside table. I added some more little witch hats to these Beanie Babies that I had from last year, and I have some handmade plush behind them. And yeah, overall the bedroom is a success to me. And last in this video, we're gonna decorate the kitchen. So first, everything needs a good tidy and reorganize. So I'm taking out this green dish soap, which I love the smell of, to be fair. It's green apple, but I don't like the color of, so I'm putting it back in its bottle to use at a later time, and putting in this orange citrusy one, which, to be fair, I adore citrus smells, so it works just as well, and the orange color is perfect for the spooky season. I got the soap container last year and I like it very much. The other one I also refill, but it just has a cool skeleton hand on it. So soaps restocked, good to go on that. This is the only orange kind of dish towel thing that I have, but I need to wash it. So into the laundry it goes, and in the meantime I'm just gonna use this plain gray one, but plain gray will simply not do for the spooky season. So once everything's been wiped down, I can go ahead and put it down, but then put this decorative moon and star one with the spooky witch on it over top. Then my drying rack can go there. Then it's just time to clean up behind the sink area. I really am loving my new reusable cleaning cloths with the spooky designs on them, so I'm going ahead and putting the ghost one out on display, and the rest I'm just going ahead and folding neatly, organizing them by color, and then placing them into their little container that lives on my towel rack. To it, I am putting up some clean towels. I love these ones. They're super soft and have these little black and white ghosties on them. Just super subtle, which is usually not my style, but very, very cute. After I washed my oven mitts, I can go ahead and hang those up as well. And I can replace my hand towels on top of the stove. I wanted to do a Joanna Parker theme last year since I found a lot of her towels lately. Only the teapot one is from last year, the other two are from this year, and I think they look so cute all together, like a little cast of characters. I'm also putting this little Joanna Parker ghostie that Cage got me on this little hook in the kitchen. I'm tidying up my aprons. I have both of these that I DIY'd last year, and one of them I'd like to add more patches to, this one that I'm tidying up right now, but for now it's still really cute. The other one is more simple, and I really like how it looks. Need to give the stove and all the kitchen area a good wipe down. The microwave has all these fingerprints on it, so giving that a good clean with my apple scented cleaning spray. Just clearing all these syrups and things from around the microwave area, and then putting everything back in a tidy and nice manner. And then on the fridge, I wanted to replace the hand towel with this orange Joanna Parker one with the stars on it, and then I put this little witchy that I found last year over top of it. Also, my rug was getting super ratty, so I'm getting rid of that one and I'm replacing it with this one from the dollar store. Ridiculously cute, I love it. Then in this little area of my kitchen counter, I wanted to redo the organization here. It just kind of holds pens and coins and keys and stuff. I've had this ceramic coffin that I've been meaning to repaint or put epoxy in or recolor or do something with, and hadn't done it until finally, where I just took this card that I got at the dollar store and really liked the designs of, cut out the cat, and glued it on. I used a lot of Mr. Super Clear and decoupage stuff, and I don't know how durable it'll be. I definitely should have used epoxy or resin or something, but for now it works. I also just painted on the little stars to give it extra detail in the corner, but I think it looks a lot cuter than it did before, and I'm happy with it. So once that's all done, I can go ahead and use it as a little tray to set things out on. I have my spooky cookie jar that always has spooky cookies in it this time of year. I replaced my pens with a lot of orange ones, so it's festive when I'm writing things. Then also by the kitchen, in front of these Halloween tattoo flash designs that Cage has, I've decided to put up my little ghosty felt banner. I love the thing. I think it looks super, super cute and just adds a little bit of extra delightful spookiness to the kitchen. When I cook, I get to look at them and it just makes me smile. And while I'm here, I figured I'd show you how cute the Halloween flash is, because seriously, amazing stuff. I would get any of these designs in a heartbeat, and this year I think is finally when I'm getting a spooky tattoo from Cage, so looking forward to that. That's what the kitchen looks like. Got all stacked up in fresh apples, got my spooky spatulas out. This is what the little counter area looks like, where I hold all my miscellaneous things. And yeah, just super, super cute. I added a little detachable sticker to my bread maker. It looks like a pumpkin, and I think it's adorable. A little spooky cat above my oven mitts, protects them, keeps them safe. All the little Joanna Parker characters on the towels and on my apron and everything just look so cute in my opinion. I love her designs and aesthetics and everything. It's just so, so special. I really like how the kitchen turned out. It feels like the perfect spot to do all my spooky baking in, and it was nice to just give it a good clean and wipe down and yeah, have everything nice and fresh in there. So everything was apple scented, beautiful, sparkling, tidy, clean. It was a very successful day. The last teeny tiny detail that I did in my house was I hung up this little ceramic bat on this sconce that I broke a while ago. Maybe last year? Yeah, haven't fixed it, but the bat works really cute. And that's it! Ween has been hallowed. Thank you so much for coming along for the journey. It means a lot, especially watching till the end. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful spooky season. Sorry this came out so late. I just got super sidetracked with some DIY projects that you'll be seeing coming up soon. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now. Thanks again.